know it's crazy, right? To help my family, I gotta leave it. To fix the law, I gotta break it.
You've got to, so our kids can have that choice.
Thank you, young man.
Combustion imminent? What does that mean? Ah!
It means fire, Robert.
Hello once again, watchers of Good Movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is my review of The Incredibles 2. A lot of times it seems like films get sequels that nobody really asked for. This is a movie on the opposite end of that, where people have been asking for a sequel to this film for the last 14 years. And now 14 years after the release of the original Incredibles, we have a sequel finally. So is this film incredible, or does it just end up lowering the bar for the franchise as a whole? Let's find out. Now, one thing which I liked about this film right off the bat is that it takes place pretty much directly after the ending of the first film, where we have the Underminer coming back. He is the main antagonist, essentially, and we get to see an awesome fight happen between this Incredibles family and the Underminer, and it's a really fun action scene to open the film with. And that's where you really get to see the visuals take place, especially the superpowers. They all look amazing, fantastic. It's been a while since I've seen the first Incredibles film, but I would presume that the graphics themselves and the character models and the powers themselves all look very much a lot better, essentially, due to a 14-year difference in technology. Music is also a standout in this film. It is just very, very well done. It really captures the theme of a superhero film while also staying true to the Incredibles themselves. I really enjoyed that. But the main plot of this film is essentially due to supers or superheroes, as the Incredibles are, being outlawed in society. They have to go into hiding after the events of the opening of the film. So Elastigirl gets called to this big corporation. They want her to basically be a hero or a vigilante, essentially, save the day, win over the public's opinion of superheroes, and just make it so that society deems it okay to have superheroes again. And while she is off doing this, we have Mr. Incredible at home, helping Violet with relationship problems, helping Dash with homework, and just trying to take care of Jack as a problem as that continues to be. And honestly, between those two sides of the plot, that was the more interesting part of it, honestly, for me. It wasn't Elastigirl's superhero heroics. All as good as those looked and as somewhat exciting as those were, they were just a little bit predictable for me, and they just didn't really stand out amongst this age of the MCU and the DC movies and everything that is superhero filled, and just does those scenes a lot better and makes them a lot more dramatic. So I actually felt like seeing Mr. Incredible have to tackle the stay-at-home life, as short as that ends up kind of being, it's fun to see him take on that challenge, see how difficult it is, and actually kind of rise to the occasion of it. And I actually would have preferred the film be more focused on that in general, because overall the story itself was a bit predictable for me. It was kind of obvious where the twist was going to be, who was going to end up being this main central antagonist. And while for kids, I think they'll all enjoy it a lot. They probably won't understand some elements, but I think overall, just generally, this is a kid's film, so you have to remember that. I just kind of expect Pixar films to have just this greater depth to it that will cause adults to appreciate it and see and catch things which kids would normally just kind of have go over their heads. That's one thing I like about Finding Dory and other Pixar films. And that also leads me to the villain. The villain, once it is revealed, they're not really that exciting compared to the first film, at least. The first film, there is a whole backstory. There is a reason for why they're doing. There is still a reason, and there's a backstory, but it's not nearly as closely related to the Incredibles themselves as the first one was, which I think is why Buddy in that first film made such a better villain than the main antagonist of this film. Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he is voicing the character of this film, basically the CEO of this giant company which is trying to support the idea of bringing superheroes back to the limelight and legalizing them. If you've seen his character in those two TV shows, you can tell that he's kind of harnessing that Saul Goodman character, because just while he was talking, at least with his initial pitch during the beginning of the film, it really felt like I was watching a animated version of Saul Goodman, and I really enjoyed seeing that. And for just fans of his work and think of those two shows in general, I think that people really like that side of it and just kind of see that persona come out to play a little bit. Out of all the heroes though, I would say Jack is easily the most entertaining. There is a fight with a raccoon which takes place, which is hilarious. And it's just really fun to see his powers get explored, both with his dad finding out about them and Edna trying to research them and try to experiment and figure out a solution for them. So yeah, Jack was easily the best part of this movie, so I kind of wish the plot had revolved a little bit more around that plot point, because it just didn't seem as useful as it maybe was set up to be in the end. So yeah, guys, in the end, The Incredibles 2, it's a perfectly good time. You will enjoy yourself. You will laugh a few amount of times. I laughed out loud 2 or 3 times, I think. And there is like 1 or 2 kind of adult themed jokes, you could say, in the film, but I don't think kids will pick them up at all. But overall, just as someone who really enjoys Disney and Pixar films for their like 2-level films where it'll appeal to kids and then also adults in various ways, this film just felt a lot more focused and centered on addressing the child audience instead of having this other layer for adults. And that was just kind of disappointing for me, just from what I've come to expect with Pixar films. As I said, the story for me at least was a little bit predictable, and just I saw the whole thing coming from a mile away when certain characters were introduced. And I just felt like the villain themselves was just a little bit boring and just not nearly as maniacal or interesting as the first film's villain was. That said, like I said, the visuals that Pixar is able to develop for this film are also very, very good. They all look fantastic and awesome and all that stuff. Seeing Mr. Incredible deal with fatherhood in the way that he does and tackle those challenges is really kind of the more interesting part of the film for me, and something in which I think will appeal to a lot of people more than Elastigirl's side of the story. And just seeing Jack in the film developing his powers and just being silly and everything as he's developing his own personality, it's just really fun to see that take place on screen. But yeah, overall guys, I think The Incredibles 2, like I said, perfectly good film, but it just didn't quite do what I was hoping that it would for a sequel, for a Pixar film, for a superhero film in general. It just seemed to play it a little bit too safe and just aimed itself a little bit too much to the child demographic, which is fine. It's a kid's film, like I said, but as an adult and liking what Pixar has done in the past, I was hoping for just a higher level per se. But those are my thoughts on The Incredibles 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And just another reminder, I am now doing written reviews for video games right now in particular. Link for that is in the description down below. Check it out if you're interested. And as always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.